Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we'll be unboxing the HyperX Quadcast 2, which is a studio-grade multifunctional USB microphone perfect for gaming, streaming, and more. So without further ado, let's get started. Straight out of the box, you'll find some documentation and of course your quick start guide. Now if we turn this right on over, here is our main microphone. And it comes with a little tag right here, which we can take out. And just like that, out comes your cable. With this gorgeous braided design, you can of course unlatch it from its packaging. However, we can set this aside while we take a closer look at our microphone. Before we dive even further, let's clean up this mess. Once we've gotten all that cleaned up, you can take a closer look at all our accessories. I also want to see the cable, which I forgot to mention is about 3 meters long and is a solid USB-C to USB-C cable. And of course, it has the adapter to make it into a USB-C to a USB-A. So we can set that aside. Now the HyperX Quadcast 2 is also a condenser microphone as well as a USB microphone because it has three 14mm condensers built inside the microphone. It also has a pop filter that eliminates the need for an additional pop filter. It's built inside that gorgeous honeycomb and allows for the smoothness and eliminates some of that extra background noise that you might find on some low quality recordings. Now the microphone itself has a very nice build. It's quite elegant and neat and has this gorgeous red right at the very top of the microphone. It's situated upon the shock mount itself, which is one of its key features that includes a shock mount, and it's of course easily removable from the shock mount with a simple twist and a pull. Now it's designed that way to be able to be removed and attached to any additional stands or arms you'd like to use and introduce into your sound system. However, most people find the shock mount itself quite efficient and it just does the job. You can of course adjust this per your needs, and once we connect this up to our device of choice, whether it be your laptop or your computer, your monitor, etc., etc., we'll be able to see how it corresponds with that. It does feature a 24-bit to 96 kilohertz resolution, making it top-notch studio grade. This is a really good speaker in terms of specs and dimensions. It's not quite heavy and it feels very sleek to look at. Now, you're probably wondering what this little knob does, what it has to offer. Now, the microphone offers 4 major polar patterns, which we'll explore later once we've got it connected. But this is known as the multifunctional control that controls those 4 polar patterns. If we turn it around, here we have our main ports. At the top, you'll find the 3.5mm headphone port that allows you to connect with, of course, your headphone, especially for gaming needs. Now at the bottom, you'll see the USB-C port, which will connect, obviously, to our USB-C cable that was provided within the box. Now, before we do any other further inspections, let's finally connect this and sync this up with our laptop. Now, if you'd like to connect your microphone up with your headphones, you need to, of course, use the 3.5mm headphone jack, which I have right here for my set of headphones, and that plugs in right there. Now, at the beginning of the video, you might remember me saying that the multifunctional knob does a lot more than just adjust the volume. So if we pull this up, you can see once you've got your headphone connected, then you'll be able to see a larger array of options. Now, cycling through it, you can click this to adjust between your microphone and your headphones. Now, to cycle between all the different types of functions that this microphone's multifunctional knob can do, all you need to do is just press it once. So before we had our microphone gain, now we have our headphone gain. This is the headphone mix. Then, of course, you can cycle in between the 4 major polar patterns, whether it be omnidirectional, stereo, etc., etc. by just holding it for 3 seconds, and then your polar pattern should change. It should change. So here, this is omnidirectional. Then you've got bidirectional, stereo, and figure 8. The microphone is also very popular because of its capacitive tap to mute, where if you just like touch it, then the microphone will mute, and if you don't, just like that. And this is a huge game changer, especially when you're in a particular situation where you need to mute. But when you mute, it makes this annoying noise, and you don't have to alt shift or anything like that. All you need to do is just do a little tap, and you've gotten yourself mute or unmuted. Okay, now it's finally time to see what this microphone has to offer. So here I've opened up a software program where I can record. It's just a simple sound recorder, and we're just going to do that and compare that without using our microphone and with using the microphone and the different variations that it creates. So this is my first recording, and it sounds quite like this. Hello. So I'm using the figure 8, and I'm currently recording with the microphone itself. It sounds quite delightful, and the closer you move up to it, the better the sound quality is. I really like the fact that the sound is picking up quite nicely. It's not taking up any of that background noise. It's very vibrant, if that's the word I'm looking for. And I'm currently 3 meters away from it, and it sounds a little bit cloggy, but that's how I would expect any microphone to pick up. This is me about 2 meters away from it. I'm getting closer. And if I pull the microphone closer, it sounds quite like this. It has a very nice vocal touch to it. Okay, so we've seen how the microphone actually sounds. It has this very delightful and smooth sound quality to it. But I would also like to download the Ingenuity that it's recommended to have. Okay, this is Ingenuity. Here I've already gotten the microphone set up. This happens as soon as you connect it up with your USB-C cable. Now there's plenty of features that you can use that you don't get to see on the multifunctional knob, and this is a lot easier to navigate, but you can go through the filters of high paw. So here you have the 4 main polar patterns, and one of which is the cardioid, which is one of the most sought after polar patterns because it's an all-rounder, from podcast to streaming to even more. Then of course you have omnidirectional, especially when you're trying to get your sound from a lot of different directions for 3, 4 more people. Then of course you have stereo, which is great for singing and instrumental. Although this is a specifically targeted microphone, specifically for instruments, this is going to be the best suitable polar pattern if you are going to do some vocal arrangements. Then of course you have bidirectional for two or maybe even 3 people for face-to-face like interviews or anything like that. So there's not a lot to see here. You can of course adjust with the mic volume, the headphone volume. If you're listening on headphones, especially when you're gaming, that's quite neat. The high pass, basically what it does is it allows for the extra noise via the pop filter to be reduced and for there to be a stronger noise reduction. Then you can of course navigate towards the lights. There's many effects. I've already installed the salt effect while I was navigating through this alone. Here all you need to do is cycle through the different types of effects, whether it be lightning, wave, the VU meter, which basically reacts to your sound. So as I'm saying stuff, the microphone is reacting to how I'm saying it, the speed of what I'm saying it, and I quite like this feature. So I'm just going to hit add, and it's going to add so I can quickly head over to any of the effects that I've chosen. You can also head over to light sinks, and you can adjust with those solid effects. We can try doing a different color, but this is a Quadcast 2, so the light sync doesn't really work only red will work. But if you do get the S2 model of Quadcast 2, then you do get more color variety. So after taking all these considerations, I would definitely rate this microphone a solid 8 out of 10 because of that amazing bass that it has. Although you can always find some nitpicky things, from the color ratios to the lack of functionalities for Mac OS. There are so many different considerations that you can take part of, but just the microphone itself, I do really love the sound output. Also, the pricing from $150 is a little bit tough. So I would like to thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and keep watching. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye!